Backstage with Mothership on Solid Rock Radio begins now. Hear the best in new music, artist interviews, stories from the road, and more. You are now backstage, and here's your host, Mothership.
Hey everybody, my guest this week is my dear friend TJ Harris of Decyfer Down. He's on the Death by Admiration tour right now with Seventh Day Slumber, Spoken, and Amongst the Giants. Just before he left, we chatted on the phone about the tour, new music, and merch. We also had a great time just catching up with each other. I hope you enjoy it. I have TJ Harris of Decyfer Down here. How you doing, friend?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Two things put me on full alert: tours and new music. And you've got both of them coming up.
Yeah.
So, what are we going to talk about first? Let's talk about the tour. Death by Admiration tour. By the time this airs, you guys will already be on the road with Seventh Day Slumber, Spoken, Amongst the Giants.
Yes.
This is going to be good.
It's going to be great. And it's our first tour since 2019. You know, planning on doing stuff in 20 and all that kind of got shut down and didn't do anything in 20. We played 4 shows last year. We had 2 shows in Florida and 2 shows in Texas as far as live shows go. And now we're about to jump into 16 dates. So I'm stoked.
Are you ready?
I'm as ready as I'll ever be. Say it like that.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I'll say there's a certain, I don't want to say anxiety, but I guess just anticipation and just leading up to it, especially when we've been home basically for 2 years. I mean, you know, playing 2 shows and coming home and then 2 shows and coming home, that's not really touring. So, you know, going out for 3 or 4 weeks, that's another ball game that we haven't experienced in a while. I was down to do it the moment that Joe texted me. After it kind of settled in, I was like, what about transportation? What about the song selection? What about new music? What about merchandise? You know, all this stuff started kind of flooding in. You know, the thoughts that I always had before, but now it was just kind of all hitting me at once because these are things that I hadn't looked at or touched. RV, the merch, all the stuff, you know. So, but it's all coming together. You know, I've been working hard. The rest of the guys have been working hard, working on new music ideas, you know, e-blasts and social media. And I've been working on the RV and so it's coming together. It's going to be good. We're stoked about it. So I've got an app called En Route or En Route, depending on
where you're from.
Yeah. And it'll let you punch in every stop, and once you punch them all in and then you go back in and you insert your starting point and your ending point, it'll show you the mileage. You can go in and click on each individual one. It'll tell you how many miles you got to the next stop, and I think it's around 6,000 miles or maybe 6,200 miles.
All right, who are we going to see in Decyfer Down?
In Decyfer Down, you're going to see Ben
Millhouse,
Harry,
Harrison Muffley,
and myself.
TJ Harris.
And Marco is going to be playing bass. Marco
Pera.
I haven't even really been able to spend a lot of time with Marco other than some little bit of banter back and forth on social media, really. So I know he's a great player and he's a really good dude. Everybody speaks very highly of him. I'm excited to hang out a little bit and actually get to jam on stage. So that's going to be fun. What is Brandon Mills up to? I know he's got his side project, the Green Room. Yeah, he's doing that and just living life.
I would have loved to have seen him.
I would too. He had other plans, and that's fine. You know, I love him. I ain't mad at him.
Okay.
And, you know, Seventh Day has fresh faces too and great players, and I'm just kind of excited to see that too and hang out with those guys, hang out with
their newest member is Weston Evans, and that kid's got some talent.
Weston, yeah. I met him at Rockfest out in Texas. Briefly, you know, everything was kind of a blur, and you know, there was the RV.
That albatross around your neck known as the DDRV that hangs over your head.
Fix me. So
yeah, your RV always wants attention, doesn't it?
It does, and in the worst time, in the worst ways.
So we're going to take a trailer of tools, new roof material,
Lord, I hope not.
Radiators.
Anything but the roof.
Right?
I normally take every tool that I own. There's no telling what could happen. So I'm just trying to be prepared.
Because most of it has happened.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. And for those of y'all that don't know, TJ works on vehicles and knows how to fix them. Thank goodness.
And what I don't know, I'll Google.
That's right. And he'll be able to figure it out. Guys always remember that time down at Murray Hill Theater when you were up on top of the roof trying to glue it down.
Oh, that was terrible. They say you're supposed to coat those roofs like every year or two or something like that. And I was like, this thing's 20 years old. It's never had a coat put on it, So I put the coat of like rubberized whatever it is on the RV, and it sat for a week. And when we left, the whole roof started lifting off and like floating, like a flag kind of flaps in the air. It was doing. I could feel it beating the roof while we're going down the road. And so yeah, I kind of ripped it back and glued it down like in Murray Hill parking lot.
Yep. A few hours later, you're on the stage just tearing that up.
Yeah, something like that. Tear the stage up. We have, which is exciting to me because this doesn't happen a lot. We have 3 North Carolina dates on this tour. Ooh. We've got some Monday shows.
Monday shows?
Yeah, I think there's 2 Monday shows on this tour, which is kind of out of the norm. Really looking forward to those shows. I wish we had one in Winston-Salem right here in my hometown, but it's all good. I'm happy to be able to play some North Carolina dates.
That's great. You have any new merch?
Yes, we do, and we're probably going to post about it tonight or tomorrow. And I know that's time can be a little weird when you're doing an interview.
We're doing this just in case anybody wants to know. We're doing this a few days before he leaves because I wanted to get him before he got on tour. So this is the 19th. Y'all going out? The first show is the 22nd, right?
Yes. We got a couple of new T-shirt designs, and they're both kind of throwback because the new music isn't out yet. But one of them is a Fight Like This shirt.
Ooh.
One of them is, which we never did, is a Fading shirt.
Oh my goodness.
And they're both great looking shirts. They're awesome. And actually my manager, Ryan, actually designed the Fight Like This shirt, did a great job. And Jared Bramlett designed the Fading shirt.
For those who don't know, Jared of the Protest and Quiet Strength Design.
So really nice, really stoked to have them out. And it's going to be hard for me not to put one on myself before I go on stage. Get good shirts and they feel good. They're comfortable.
Yeah, I love them. Your shirts are usually really soft.
Yeah, I always try to get, I think everybody used to sell like the Gildan, just the boxy, 100% like super heavy, thick tees. And I all stay away from that, ever since the early days, just because I'm like, man, I want to give somebody what I'd like to wear as far as the fit and, just the whole nine. So.
Yeah. I'm kind of fond of Next Level myself.
Yeah, I love Next Level and Bella Canvas. I love those shirts. I think both of them are awesome.
That's awesome. So I am looking forward to that. I definitely have to nab both of those shirts.
You got them.
Backstage with Mothership returns after this.
Miller Express LLC is a Solid Rock Radio business ministry partner specializing in delivery, setup, and relocation of storage buildings. More info by calling 803-300-7594.
All right, let's talk about new music. You've been working on some stuff for a while.
Yeah. So we got this new song called Cycles, which we want to release sooner than later. We wanted to release it before the tour, actually. Mixing and a few parts, we're bouncing stuff back and forth because we all live in different towns and all this kind of stuff. And then we changed mix guy, and actually Noah Henson mixed Cycles, and it sounds just awesome. It sounds so good. One of the best mixes probably Decyfer Down has had, in my opinion. I think it just sounds so good. So we're wanting to release the song sooner than later. I don't have a date, but we do have 3 or 4 other songs in the works as well.
Will you be playing Cycles on this tour?
Yeah, we will be playing Cycles on this tour. We did play it in Florida and Texas last year. People came at it from different angles. Some people didn't want to release music if they couldn't tour it. Some people thought it was a perfect time to release music because they didn't have to tour it.
Half tour it.
So we just kind of held back, but it's ready now. We're just looking at everything and trying to find the right window. I think timing is everything, and we want to release music a single at a time, but we want to do it kind of rhythmically. We want to get into a certain pattern where we're doing it, let's say, every 2 months or 2.5. We kind of want to get ahead of it a little bit before we start releasing, so we're not trying to play catch up, and then we're not being fulfill what we said we wanted to do, what we promised ourselves we wanted to do. I like to get ahead of it first and then start releasing music.
So are you aiming to get on the Spotify editorial lists?
The industry, the streaming, I mean, it is kind of a singles game, really an album game like it used to be. I mean, which, I'm fine with. I love the idea of full album concept and all that. And, hopefully at some point we go back to that depending on how the industry evolves. But right now it makes the most sense.
Mm-hmm. A little earlier, you mentioned Noah mixing your new single. I had an interview with him, and he finished mixing that song 5 minutes before we went into our interview. It's awesome. Of course, then he talked about how awesome it was and how awesome you guys are. So you'll have to go back and listen to that. But
yeah, me and Noah co-wrote My Kind of Country. So, I mean, yeah, that song turned out great. I mean, me and my wife and kids went over there one night. I think we got started about 11 or midnight or something like that. Started bouncing ideas off each other's head, and that turned out great. My favorite solo song that I've written, and I was happy being able to co-write it with him. So for people that don't know, you have country music that you release as well, not just Decyfer Down. Tell us a little bit more about that. Well, actually, there was a song called Living It Up, which I released a few years ago before COVID. And me and Chris Klontz, who used to be in Decyfer Down as well, we co-wrote Living It Up together. I did a Christmas song. And then My Kind of Country I was able to release and do a music video for. And we had a pretty good push on that. And it still does pretty well on streaming. But then Walk Love, which we wrote during the Scarecrow days, was kind of shelved because they wanted something more commercial, and so we wrote So in Love. So I just kind of held on to Walk Love, and I would play it, at all my live shows, acoustic shows, and then, I finally released it as a single. My last single was Walk Love. I've got 3 or 4 more singles that need just some kind of polishing up and mixing, mastering solo songs that I want to release. And so I'm going to continue to do that as well as Decyfer Down. So, Harrison has joined. So, there's another riffmeister in the band now, which is great. Actually, he sent us all an idea not too long ago. It's awesome. Harrison is like a chameleon. It's like, he also plays with me in my country band.
Right.
And at one time, he was in 3 or 4 bands at one time. And I've watched him go from a rock band to a country band to a pop band. It's like he blends in well, and he can also write to those formats, which I think is awesome. So, which helps me because I can't do everything. Not that I do. I don't. I can't. As far as writing and riffing and all that kind of stuff, like it's tough to do all that stuff. I'm also in the middle of a home edition. Being off the road has required me to have to roll my sleeves up. So
how is the house coming along?
It's coming along nicely. It is. It looks really nice. The vinyl siding is done. We did a board and batten front, and it's solid white with black gutters. And going to do wood trim on the porch, and we got a big open gable on the porch with wood posts, and we're going to do wood shutters. And
how about the studio? I know you were building you a new one over the garage, right?
Yeah, and so the studio I'm in now, I'm in my outbuilding in my studio for the last 6 or 7 years, is 12 by 20, but there's so much other stuff in here that it feels more like, 8 by 10.
3 by 3.
Yeah. Right now. But no, it's 14 by 24. I've got storage wings on both sides because we built it in an attic truss room over the garage. So I've got plenty of storage. I got a big casement window where they open front. It's really nice. All the flooring is done. The trim guys are actually supposed to start next week. They're supposed to be doing the stairs and railing and all the door casings and window casings, all that stuff. With that studio, I'm hoping for it to be, a little more professional grade where, maybe eventually I do bring in some other bands and record them. Or, I don't want to get so involved with that I don't want Decyfer Down or my solo music to suffer, but, or even just, for songwriting and demos. Now I always record my vocals here for Decyfer Down. Yeah. And My Kind of Country, Living It Up, Walk Love, Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. I recorded all of that here. I think that with a little more room and a little more streamlined gear, just a little, I think that I can do better. So
Sorry for sending you on that rabbit trail. You were talking about Harrison.
Yeah, it's good to have people in the band who write and can bring that to the table. It doesn't make sense for me just to handle all that. I mean, I could just work on the RV and that'd be a full-time job, you know?
That's right.
Let's just do the RV. Somebody else get up there and
drive from city to city and repair it every time you get somewhere.
Yeah, let's be the onboard mechanic.
That's right.
A lot of good things are coming about it. So
yeah. Now I remember last time you were touring, you recorded live music. When am I going to get that music?
Okay, glad you said that because I forgot about something that I wanted to mention. So anybody who's seen Decyfer Down in the last 4 or 5 years has probably noticed that there are no Crash CDs at the table ever. And not to throw anybody under the bus, record label, but, you know, I would call them and be like, hey, I need some CDs. And we're like, okay, we don't have any and we're not going to have any made unless you order 1,000. And, you know, a short tour here and a short tour there, you know, few and far in between and stuff like it just didn't make sense, you know. I don't know. $4,500 tied up in CDs or $5,000 tied up in CDs and slowly, you know, sell all those because we weren't touring a whole lot. And I went to the head of the label and I said, hey, I would like to buy the rights to print the physical copies. First, I asked him if he would sell me the masters to Crash, and it was like, heck no, which means I'm still doing pretty good on the streaming side. So, it's been pretty popular. It's our most popular album, and it's done pretty good sales wise and continues to do well on the streaming. So he wouldn't budge on that, but he did allow me to start printing physical copies and selling them. So what I did was, and I wanted to have them for the 2019 10th anniversary Crash tour, and I couldn't make it happen, sad to say. But yes, we did record every night of the 10th anniversary Crash tour. I've got the entire set mixed. I'm about 90% there with it. You know, a guy messaged us on Facebook and you said, hey, Now I'm Alive is one of my favorite Decyfer Down songs, but I only have Spotify and I have no way of listening to it, not on Spotify. I said, well, it is on Apple Music and you can buy it on iTunes. But I said, if you come to a show the end of this month and you see a Crash CD on our table, it will have the live version of Now I'm Alive at the end of the CD.
All right.
So it will be 11-song CD. It'll have the entire original Crash album, and at the end of it will be the live version of Now I'm Alive from Franklin, Tennessee in 2019. And it sounds good. It's meaty, thick.
Sounds amazing. I love that. When are we getting the entire album?
I'm working on it. So like I say, I'm about 90% there on the mixing.
Okay.
You know, they are from different nights of the tour. You know, the room, I mean, you know, amp volumes, all that kind of stuff kind of plays into it, mic, all that. So I'm just trying to get it all right. If I do it the way I want to, it'll include Now I'm Alive, and it'll have, I think it's 14 songs.
Wow.
Maybe have Crash album plus Now I'm Alive, a few Other Side of Darkness songs, a few End of Grey songs. So it's going to be good. And, you know, people have always said, you know, we'd love to hear what it would sound like an album of the End of Grey songs with me singing them.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought this was a good opportunity for that. There's a medley. I think we did a medley that year of No Longer, Life Again, and Break Free. We did Fight Like This.
Mm-hmm.
It'll just be together on this live CD.
All right. Definitely have to have that. Start saving my pennies.
I'm also trying to work out getting one more of those live songs, maybe for people who buy merch at the table to be able to download.
Oh, neat.
I'm not making any promises, but, you know, I'm working on it. I've got, you know, T-minus 12 hours before I leave for tour, so
we'll see what happens. Countdown has begun. I'm excited.
You're listening to Backstage with Mothership on Solid Rock Radio. Check us out on Facebook at I'm with Mothership.
You know, let's mention, since we are talking about Crash, and yeah, I'm sure it's streaming still well because that was nominated for a Grammy.
Yeah, it was.
We told this story before, but Caleb Oliver stepped away from Decyfer Down just before Crash was about to be released. I know that you came on board and came in and re-recorded all the vocals on that. Kind of tell that story a little bit for those that didn't hear my first interview with you.
Okay, so in 2008, about probably middle of the year, Josh Oliver, the original drummer for Decyfer Down, called me and asked if I would fill in some shows singing for Decyfer Down. I was scheduled a writing trip in Nashville the week before I was supposed to play my first show with Decyfer Down, just filling in at a show in West Virginia. And that whole week I was in a hotel room. I was in writing sessions during the day, and I was in a hotel room at night in front of a mirror trying to figure out how to sing without a guitar in my hand, because I'd never. And that was the whole idea. It was like, you don't have to play. We just need you to sing. I said, okay, I can do that. I'll do my best. I had cheat sheets everywhere, all over that stage. I'm talking about, I had them taped to the monitors. I had them taped to the floor. And if you find any footage of me of Decyfer Down in 2000, late 2008 at a show in West Virginia, you'll notice I'm in like rock stance, knees bent, face down the entire time, because I'm staring at those papers. I've always been terrible remembering lyrics anyway, so I've mumbled my way through quite a few songs in my day. Yeah, so I signed with the guys and the label in late 2008. It was like November. And literally in a 2-week span, we were in the studio in Memphis with Paul Ebersole, and it was like, okay, what did Caleb sing? And they would play it back for me, and I'd be like, okay, hit record. It was one of those things where, I wanted to make it my own. I wanted it to be me, I really didn't have time to do that. We had this short window, and I was singing songs. I was adding songs to the album. I added Desperate and Moving On. I originally wrote those songs for Fighting Instinct.
Oh, wow.
And so I had to add those songs, play that music, and then also sing the rest of this album. In the same token, we were also driving back up to Nashville to do photo shoots. Thing had to be redone, And so then the album was released early that spring, 2009. So it was a whirlwind.
Yeah. It's like kind of a fairy tale, too.
Yeah, it was. And huge tours that year with Skillet on the last Comatose tour was early spring that year. And then the first Awaken Alive tour was that fall. Yeah.
Second leg of the Comatose tour is where I met you for the first time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Of course, we didn't know who each other were, but...
Right.
It's like, find my Crash CD. Yeah, it was probably the next DD show where we had our first chance to really chat with each other.
Yeah, in Georgia, in Atlanta. It was the Over My Head tour.
Oh, yeah.
It was that one place where the floor kind of really went down toward the stage and had that post right in the middle.
Was that 7 Venue?
I think so.
I think it was.
Yeah, it had a super tall stage where the floor just kind of went down to it, and it seemed like the stage was like 4.5, 5 feet tall.
Yeah. I think you're right. I believe my eyes were level with the stage. That's crazy.
Long time ago.
Yes, it was. Okay. Are there any other dates or festivals after this tour that we can look forward to? You got some summer festivals?
Right now, the only thing on the books other than Death of Admiration tour is KCF in Indiana. Stoked about that. We're headlining this year. It's been a few years since we've headlined it. Last year, I played acoustic there, kind of middle of the day, which I've done a few times there. We've headlined KCF twice, and I've played acoustic there twice. And so this will be our third time headlining. We're excited about it. Love those guys.
Yeah, I believe you were the first person to tell me about that festival. And I never imagined we would get to go because it is so far away. It's 10 plus hours,
Oh, yeah.
Finally went last year. We loved it so much. So, we're going to go to that and Uprise this year.
Awesome. Yeah.
You also did acoustic tours where you did some Decyfer Down songs and some Fighting Instinct songs. Are you going to continue to do those as well?
Yeah, I'm talking to a few people right now, so there may be some on the books here soon, maybe in Lynchburg, Virginia, and Fayetteville, North Carolina.
Those are always fun.
Yeah, they are. I enjoy it, and I haven't got to tell really dumb jokes and play guitar in a while, so.
Yeah. Oh, and I forgot to mention, you've ventured into TikTok world.
I have. I got a TikTok. I finally, I moved on into the 21st century and got a TikTok. Mm-hmm. It's kind of weird. TikTok's weird.
It is. Listen to us old people talking about TikTok.
I got on the TikTok last night. But, I mean, it's cool. The duet feature on TikTok is really cool. I've never been able to do anything like that before. And so when I seen that people were doing that, I was like, wow, that's something I'd love to harmonize with people. I mean, I was talking to Marshall one day from Relentless Flood, and he played with us for a good while, and we were saying that was one of the things that we love to do almost more than sing and lead. It was just riding down the road, harmonizing with everything that comes on the radio. To jump in and do some stuff like that, I think it's really fun.
I'm not on TikTok, but I do get TikToks that show up in my reels.
Yeah, cool. I enjoy the Alicia Keys song, and there's a few others. There's an Adele song on there. And
I heard both of those. They were fantastic.
I normally wouldn't sing stuff like that, not for any particular reason. It's just not on my radar, I guess, because I'm just more in tune with country and rock, you know. At the same time, when I sang that Adele song, or when I sang that Alicia Keys, either one, it's like, golly, man, it's such a good song. That just says a lot about a song, that you know it's good when you can change the music to 10 other different genres or whatever, and it's still just a stinking good song.
Good stuff is good stuff.
That's right. That's right.
Just a reminder, if you're driving through Georgia and you're hungry or need to do some laundry, you know where I live.
Sounds good to me. Listen. Now, I started eating right.
Okay.
Today. This has been the biggest struggle of my life.
What about tomorrow, TJ?
I'm telling you, I've had 1,500 calories today, maybe, and I'm just ready to gnaw my arm off.
Now, you know you're going to have to eat on tour because you're going to be burning some calories up there on that stage.
What's the thing? I mean, I work on cars all day long, and I work out, and then I come home and work on the house, or I come up here and I practice music, or I'm a very active person. So I was sitting there thinking, am I going to be that active on tour? How much time am I going to be, sitting behind the wheel of the RV versus, loading in, loading out, playing in between, running back and forth to the merch table? Is it going to be as active as I am at home, or am I going to have to slow my roll? Because let me tell you, on Easter Sunday, when it was all said and done, and I looked down, there was a whole row of chocolate chip cookies sitting there, and everybody done left my house. I ate like 12 cookies. And they were a bit bigger than what comes in a pack normally, too. They were a little bit bigger. So I felt like when I got done, I was like, oh, my God, I think I just had 20 cookies.
So you started today eating right.
Yeah. Well, okay. I'm not a salad guy. You know my dislikes.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
And you know my likes because I'm vocal about them. So I had a salad the other day from a local place. And it was this very, very good salad with blue cheese and bacon and all this stuff. And I got steak strips and put it on top of it. And it was amazing. It was made with spinach because I hate lettuce. Mm-hmm. And I said, I can do this. But you know what? Every salad is not like that. And some salads are disgusting.
Yeah, they are.
But from Wendy's today, and I was ready to throw it back in the window. But I didn't. I ate it. I'm going to go eat a protein bar. Actually, I'm good. I'm right here. Check this out. I'm good.
Oh, okay. Protein bar. Great value. Wally World.
These are really good though. They're like 12 grams of protein. They're a knockoff of the
Nature Valley.
Yeah, Nature Valley. So
it's a generic Nature Valley one.
Yeah, it is a thing. Almond and dark chocolate. And it's like 12 grams. It's nothing big. I mean, it's 12 grams of protein. 180 calories is nothing, but that's just some things that I'm trying to do I'm not trying to lose like 10 pounds. I'm just trying to tone up a little bit. I started squatting and deadlifting again, and I've been working out pretty regular for about 2 months now. Anytime I waver a couple of pounds up, I'll just keep my diet in check for about a week or so, and I just try to stay on top of it,
Well, I'm going to leave you with your granola bar, and I will see you on the road on the Death by Admiration tour very, very soon. You have a good night.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. Stay tuned for more great music. Check out my blog on the Solid Rock Radio website for my guests' social media links. If you missed a past interview, you can find them uploaded to podcast.solidrockradio.org. Have a wonderful week, and let's be kind to one another.